for people who don't know you guys, can we go back in time? How did you guys start as a band, and where's your name from?
We started as a band, basically. In fact, I joined the band late. I was they'd been a band for about 6 months before I joined, and they all met through mutual friends who kind of wanted to join a band that was going to go somewhere due to the other members of their old bands not being motivated enough. So they all joined a band to actually take it somewhere and possibly make it as a career. But I think Drew can tell you what the band name's about. So.
Like, it took us so long to find the name Milestones, and then eventually, like, Mark suggested it, and it was like the only one out of like literally about 150 names. I was like, yeah, we'll go for that. But then, like, something we always kind of liked about Milestones was that it sort of said a lot about who we are as people. We're always the type of people who are striving to kind of work harder, improve what we do, always get to like that next step, you know, whether it's like, you know, write better songs, have a better live show, or play bigger tours. So it just ties in a lot with kind of like the work ethic of us as people and as a band.
Were there any other name contenders, like any names that you were almost called, or anything you guys had like good ideas of?
Matt kept pushing for the name Mantra, but like not a single, like it's like I mean it's a good name because I think the meaning of it's like something emotional to do with music, but like not a single one of us digged it except him. But that was the only one that he was like, we need to be called Mantra.
Well, that would have been cool too, but yeah. Milestones is good. Yeah. Now you guys have been signed to Fearless Records, been on tour, you're in the US. What has been a milestone for you as a musician that has been just kind of like a pinch me moment?
To be honest, the whole signing with Fearless thing was pretty crazy because we were all in metal bands before this, and we kind of aspired to be on Fearless due to some of our favourite bands being on there, and for us to completely change our genre of music and get signed to a label that we'd always like dreamed of was just incredible. So, but like in terms of milestones of playing shows and things, it's just this tour has been a real eye opener for that. That is in itself. We've been playing about 2,000, 3,000 cap rooms, and just to see a load of kids who've never ever listened to our music before all jumping and just going crazy, it's really, I don't even know how to explain it, but it's great. So
I'd say as obvious as it sounds, like, you know, the travelling side of it, there's been like a lot of times where, like, you know, the tour before this, we were in Europe with Confidence, and like that was my first time going to like Paris and Venice, and, you know, just seeing like huge amazing cities like that, and like knowing it's playing music that's got me here. It's not just like a family holiday. And, you know, it was the same these past few days, just stood in New York. Like, it's, you know, just sort of getting to explore all these countries and meeting people is probably, you know, one of the biggest things about this for me.
Now, you guys are very far from home right now. Is this your first time in the US and touring in the US?
Yeah. I think Matt and Jake have been to the US before, but that was just on holidays. But me, Drew, and Mark have never ever been to America before. Wow. So for our career to actually bring us over somewhere we've always wanted to be, it's just amazing. So
you guys have played some gigs here now. So can you compare the US and the UK, and, you know, any other places you guys have played? What have been the crowds and just even the touring life?
I don't think it'd be fair to compare, since the gigs are like so much bigger. Do you not think?
Yeah,
I'm not sure.
I think like people over here, for me, in comparison to the UK, definitely a lot more open-minded to new bands. Like, I think if we were to do a tour this size in the UK, there's a lot more people that would just turn up for the headliners or the main support, whereas over here there's like usually quite a lot of people there to see the openers and like just generally into checking out new music. You know, a lot of people have been saying, oh, I'm not normally into the opening band, but I like you guys, which is cool. And like, I don't know, we just don't normally get that same kind of interest in the UK.
That's awesome. And I know there's fans outside waiting. They've been out here all day, and they come up to you guys. You guys hang out at the merch table after the show. So you had any like cool or interesting fan experiences, either here on this tour or in the past?
I don't even know if we can say some of them. Obviously, there's one in Croydon. Well, we'll say it anyway. We did like a weekender that was about 3 dates in the UK, and we played, I think it was Chester, Croydon, and was it Sheffield? Yeah. And the Croydon date of it, the promoter backed out on the day. We had to take over. We had to promote the show, sell tickets on the door, and it was the worst selling thing ever. And basically when we were playing, it was a headliner, and we'd hardly established ourselves at all. So we took like just one of our friends out, one of our friends' bands, and it was basically just them watching us and about 3 other people, and someone threw like a dildo on stage halfway through our set, and we were just like, there was no one there to laugh as well, so we were all just stood there like frozen awkwardly. Wow. We were just like, oh my gosh. I can't actually think of anything else like weird that's happened. The thing is, so many.
Like, these tours were not like, I think these like this tour and the last one have been that good. There hasn't really been any mad shit like that happening. I think a lot of that stuff happens kind of when you're playing the smaller shows, really.
Well, that's good. And you guys are on a huge tour right now with Mayday Parade and Knuckle. So while you've been on the road with them, have you gotten any good insight or advice from them, or even just by watching them learned anything?
I think a lot in the way the whole crew and the band members conduct themselves. It's a very professional situation, and to go into huge venues and see everything done so properly, and everyone's really clued up on what they're actually doing. Like, even just with gear and things like that and how to set up, like, we set up our gear so much differently now. We set everything up before we go on, so we can just pop our pedal boards and our amp on and go straight away, rather than mess about on stage and do it all. So it's all about learning like tiny little tricks, what we've done on this tour, to just make life easier in the future. But yeah, it's definitely great to be around them all. You learn like a load of little things which you never thought you would. So
I think like definitely the way they conduct themselves as people too. Like the first day, everyone like on this tour was like super friendly, just introducing themselves, kind of like and like as the tour's gone along, like a lot of them have been like asking, how's this for you guys? Like, I know like obviously it's your first time in America and stuff, and like I'd say probably that just having a really kind of cool attitude on tour.
Now, you guys have been touring for pretty much non-stop this year, and you guys had some unfortunate situations happen. There was some sickness, there were some things stolen. Yeah. Can you talk about those situations and what that was like for you guys?
The one where we got gear stolen, that was a huge shock. Yeah, but that was a massive shock because, have you ever heard of Hell's Angels? Like, they're basically there's rarely anywhere in the UK where it's like a hotspot for Hell's Angels, but in Nottingham there's a venue called Rock City, and it's guarded by Hell's Angels. So all these big tough like bikers there, and basically all our gear was in a little hallway that was from the side of the stage to the loadout area, and some guy who was just wearing a hat and a jumper just walked straight in, picked some guitars up, and just walked straight out. I think it was Mark's bass and anything with Confidence's guitar, and they were both really expensive. So we went to the police, nothing happened. So luckily Fender were nice enough to send him out a new bass, so we got that sorted. But I think it was more the principle of it that we'd had something stolen. It was a real kick in the teeth when you're halfway through tour. So yeah,
and we all kind of. What did you say about being sick?
Yeah, in San Diego.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. That was like, so obviously Matt got like a throat infection and then wasn't able to play. So like for the first time ever, like we were playing as a 4-piece, and like I don't really speak that much live either, so I obviously had to talk in between songs with the help of Mark and Eden, and then like all three of us were like attempting to sing, but like it was a really sick show though, to be fair. Like people were super understanding and cool about it. Even I think some people were like, I didn't realise that you weren't the singer. I think they were just being nice about it, but like it went way better than I thought it was gonna be.
It was we were standing there as well on stage. We could just see Matt in the crowd. He was watching us, and he was just there jumping around. Like, oh god, he must feel so good to have a night off. But
well, you guys covered from that well, so congratulations. Yeah. It worked out. Now, how does your family and friends back home feel about you guys being in the U.S. touring and kind of going all over the world touring? And obviously you guys are signed to a record label, so that's awesome too. So what is the response like from your people back home?
Our parents are always really supportive about everything, aren't they? Like, we're really lucky because a lot of kids don't kind of have the privilege of the parents being that supportive of them being home a lot. But I mean, they get upset and everything, but they know it's what we want to do, so they're always behind us. But it's obviously hard to stay in contact with friends back home and stuff, but it all works out because if they're actually your friends, they'll stay there and wait for you. So
Yeah, I mean, like Eden was saying, all of our parents are really supportive. I've been into music and playing guitar for like since I was about 10 or 11, so I think my mum and dad kind of knew this is exactly what I wanted to do and what I was going to do. So like, they're just really stoked I'm actually like getting to do it. Like going to America was like a pretty big deal for me because it was just always somewhere I kind of romanticized about touring, I guess, because I've seen like so many of my favourite bands and I've grown up listening to them that are from here, and like probably like a lot of UK bands now, especially like the past years, it's cool seeing them go out to the States, so it's just sick being able to do it ourselves, really.
Now, you guys finished recording your debut album in January, so what was the recording process like and when can we expect it?
It was quite it went on for longer than we expected, but a lot of it was done in pre-production with Drew and Matt just recording. That was before Christmas, and we all went in early January to actually record it. But there's loads of tiny little things what will change in the studio, and in editing there'll probably be a lot more. But it's probably due to release around later this year, isn't it?
Yeah,
but we're not entirely sure, so we can't actually give you a certain date yet. But it should be late this year, we hope. But,
yeah, that's it. Like, we've not like actually even had a conversation yet about when it's gonna be released. We just know it's gonna be sometime the back end of this year or early next year, really.
Hi, I'm Eden.
I'm Drew.
And we're from Milestones, and you can check us out on Instagram and Twitter at UK Milestones and on Facebook at Milestones UK.